Mother Fracas, welcome. Suno just raised over $500 million, or at least close to $400 million at a $5.4 billion valuation from Bond Capital. Ain't no stopping them now. Don't do that, that's cheesy. Now, if you already know what Suno is, skip ahead, 20 seconds. Love you, see you soon. If you don't, stay here with me. Basically a text-to-song app. You type in a vibe or whatever song you're looking for, and it gives you back beats, lyrics, vocals, everything, anything you imagine. Any genre is pretty amazing. By four nerds or four people, I'm a nerd too, so no disrespect when I say you're a nerd. I'm like, that's like I'm saying we're like air like something, or like, you know, we're potential soulmates, you know, if we met in the right lifetime, if we crossed paths, we would like, hey. So, built by four nerds from Cambridge, Massachusetts, taking the Mickey. Really, CEO's name is Mickey Sullman. Ex-Kensho, which is basically an AI lab. So these guys are machine learning heads, not music industry lifers. They're basically like Lovable for music. If you know what Lovable is a platform that lets you actually just text and create any kind of app. They're the music industry equivalent. Text and you can create any kind of song, musical piece. It's basically vibe composing. 100 million people have already made something on it till date. Here's the fun part. 2 years back, the big three, the majors, hit them with a big ass lawsuit. It's like bam, bam, bam. Like, here you go. You guys are not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not playing ball with you guys. You guys were out here training lots of music on the internet. Massive copyright lawsuit. Trained on the whole internet's music. So every single piece of music you can find on the internet, these guys somehow went on there, scraped, and trained every little piece of it. No permission, see you guys in court. So Suno basically went, well, this is fair use.
And as you guys know, they're claiming fair use. They say we are allowed to take everyone's songs because, you know, it's this thing called fair use.
So to be fair, we'll beg for forgiveness later. And kept shipping. Scaled the hell out of the platform. And then they pulled a move. They brought in Timbaland, you know? If you feeling like, no, okay, but there's quite a few references. So Timbaland, basically, who's Timbaland? If you don't know Timbaland, Timbaland's a god. Timbaland's a god, buddy. He's like one of the most impressive people in music. I say he was AI before AI.
I start from scratch, making a beat with my mouth.
This guy was like twitching, jerking, grunting in a corner, like generating music just like of sounds.
Watch this. Melody, beat, cymbals, then I can duplicate it on a drum machine. This will be the idea, use it as a template and create around it.
Go watch a documentary about this guy. He's brilliant. That's one of the best people they could have brought on. And he's Virginia royalty. You know, if you think Timbaland, you think Pharrell, and like they're kind of like, I guess, OG, or their influencer was like Teddy Riley. So these guys, Timbaland knows what he's doing. Don't fuck around with him. He knows what he's doing. So anyway, they brought in Timbaland and made a lot of noise when he came in. They were doing like loads of like K-pop remixes, and then he created his own AI artist. But that's a whole nother conversation. Hundreds of millions sold Timbaland. It's like, this guy knows music. It's all good. If you don't know Tim, sit down. And what he brought the platform was credibility. The same kind of credibility lawyers can't buy. But Timbo was just a loud hire, because behind the scenes, quietly, they were hiring the music business. They poaching the industry that was suing them. Former CEO of Merlin. Merlin are basically the largest independent label, a Warner Music exec, a Spotify exec, all in to build the bridge back to the music industry. And it worked. Last November, plot twist. A C and a B and a C and a B and an E and an E and a B. Warner folds, Warner's folded, they folded. So by this time, Warner are sitting pretty. One major down, the big boy's still standing though. And here's the thing, Universal's a completely different kind of animal. They're not folding, they're not just taking it like that. In fact, they're like, I'll see you back in court, boy. I'll see you back in court, boy. They just doubled down. They expanded the songs that they say Suno jacked from over 100 to over 60,000. At the max, the law allows, say, like about 150K a song. That's a number north of 9 billion if you do the math. Crazy. 9 billion. Oof. That's that number. That's that magic number. They say if you're going to do a crime. I'm not saying they're doing a crime. Disclaimer, I'm not saying Suno are doing a crime because I'm not a lawyer. I don't know any about this. But they say if you're going to steal, make it worth it. This is 9 billion. Ooh. Okay, hold on. Coming. And really, when you've trained on tens of millions of songs like these guys have, theoretical number really runs into the trillions. Silly number, but That's the point. Because here's the game, right? And I've sat at some of these tables before. Maybe not negotiating for like billions, but I've sat down on licensing tables before. Fuck off. Nobody's actually trying to collect 9 billion. Unless you really piss somebody off. When you file a lawsuit that big, you're aiming for the moon so you can land somewhere quite comfortable. That's the plan. That's the idea. 9 billion is the hammer. What Universal actually wants is a deal. And what does that deal look like? From the ones that I've been in, the shape's always similar. First of all, you need like a nice little package, a nice little upfront something to sweeten the deal. You know, just to like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you know, we're happy to be here. So we've come bearing gifts. Typically, there's an upfront. And then after the upfront, you then negotiate, obviously, what your monthly payments are going to be. And after your monthly payments, then we're going to talk a little bit of equity because it's like, hey, maybe I want to own a little bit of that. So you may have to put some equity on the table. And then, of course, after that, it's going to be reporting. They want to see every single digit, every single data set, every single number. That's like the generic kind of high level framework you might be looking at. Now, don't quote me on it. I'm not a lawyer. I'm simply talking from experience. So watch what happens next. Suno just re-up. Fresh money in the bank. Money in the bank, shorty, what you drink. Money in the bank, shorty, what you drink. So now it's sweet. They've got runway money. They've got negotiation money. They've got make it rain money, just a little bit, you know, just a little bit. You got to wild out just a little bit. And now they can essentially walk back to the Universal table and be like, hey, you know. But they can start calling people by their first names, you know. They can remove like a Mr., a sire, a sir, a madam, infante. They can, you know, Oga. You don't have to say Oga anymore. You can use first names. Because they have a war chest. They're basically walking in with a nice little war chest. And they've really got war in the bag. So it's like, they've got some sense of how these things work. And so they can comfortably essentially plant the flag in the sand and say, listen, we've got the bread. What do you want to do? We're here to talk. You can either sue us or you can get paid. Choose one. And the kicker is that it's not like Universal are gonna kind of like take it and just like fall over and just like Universal have been busy. Don't count them out. Universal are out here training underdeveloped muscles. They're doing push-ups, they're doing calisthenics, they're like doing pull-ups, they're planking, they're getting right for summer, they're getting that 8-pack washing board, they're cutting deals, they're cutting different deals. Every other month we're hearing this UNG deal. They just signed a new AI deal with Spotify, which basically lets premium users remix and augment songs that they listen to. Of course, artists need to opt in, but this is a huge deal. It's like I, as a premium listener, can remix songs that I like on Spotify using AI. Universal are flexing their muscles. They're like signing all of these different interesting AI kind of deals. So they're not just sitting down waiting for Suno to happen. They're ahead of the curve, bud. They're ahead of the curve. And mind you, this is Spotify aiming straight at Suno. Like, these are shots fired, shots. Spotify is saying, hey, our deals are based on getting permission, not begging for forgiveness. We do things properly here. Apparently, that's what I heard. That's a shot. And that's the whole war in one line. Suno begged for forgiveness. Spotify asked for permission. And every new deal Universal signs up front with any of these platforms makes their hand even stronger. So this is going to be an expensive deal. Talk about expensive problems. So any new deal Universal signs up front with any platform basically makes Universal's hand even way stronger than anybody else who's just like took things up front. So that's where we are. 2 million people paying them every month, over 100 million making songs, fresh war chest, a big bag of cash, and a new model that they say is built with the music industry. So what's all that cash actually for? Mostly chips. These guys spend more on GPUs than they do on their entire staff. From suing them into the ground to here's our catalog and some money, all in 18 months. Let's see, this is going to be interesting. That's the story. The question is, one thing I'm wondering, is this AI working for artists or just a faster machine running over them? What do you think? Mother Fracas who dare.